You're on the air with Air Raid Radio with hosts Amy Loria
and Kara White. Our show features women in aviation, including those who have made history and those who are currently making shockwaves of their own. We are a pre-recorded show. If you'd like to call in and leave a comment, call us at 478-787-4768 or comment on our Facebook page and we will answer them on our next show.
Our show is sponsored by Hemlock Films and Spotlight Business Solutions.
Hold on to your hats. Here comes Air Raid Radio.
You've been warned.
Hi, and welcome to Air Raid Radio. You're here with Amy and Kara.
Hello.
Hello. And today we're going to interview a few women that I know from doing our production of Beyond the Powder when we filmed with the women's air race, the Air Race Classic. And I know we've discussed the history of that and had other guests on from that race as well, talking about all of that stuff. So if you're more interested in any of that subject, because we've interviewed past racers and the granddaughter of Louise Thaden, so those are definitely in the inventory of our Warbird Radio shows for Air Raid Radio.
Check them out.
So check those out, because we're going to kind of breeze right past all that stuff. We're going to talk with Emily Applegate and Zia Safko, and they were a part of the team called the Racing Rosies.
Which I'm super excited to hear more about.
Yeah.
Very fun and festive and colorful from what I understand.
Yes. That was the reason I wanted to talk to them. So I saw them across the airfield and said, I have to talk to them.
I need to know them.
No,
that's usually how it works, isn't it?
Right. No, they're fantastic. They're super fun. We're very excited to bring them on the show. And I think that was one of my favorite parts of the film, was that they embody the passion and the spirit of aviation. So they really brought that into the film, and I love that. So we're going to play a little clip from Beyond the Powder of the Racing Rosies, and here it is.
The air racers enjoy showing off their team spirit. With plenty to go around, they celebrate this unique piece of history.
We try to represent that in everything that we wear. We only wear polka dots a certain time of year, as Zia says.
That's what we bring to the race. We dress up like Rosie the Riveter when we're racing. During the briefings and stuff like that, we like to bring a little Amelia in this. It makes it more fun for us, and it makes it, we hope, fun for the other racers. Yes, it's a modern race, but we appreciate the history of it as well. Absolutely.
So that's the Racing Rosies, and we'll share that clip on our Facebook page so you can see it there and check out their awesome sparkly goggles.
Emily was in the Rise Above Wasp as well. She came down as an extra, which is really cool to have her be a part of that.
Yes, and so Amy was able to meet Emily while we were all working on that together. And that was another thing where I just reached out to the women I knew on Facebook who were in aviation to see if anybody wanted to join us and be extras. And Emily and Zia were the two that I thought of first, because I was like, oh, they would be great for this. And Zia couldn't because she was busy, working towards her goal in her career of becoming a pilot for United. So Emily came by herself, and Emily was great in it. So a little bit about Emily and Zia. Zia's been flying for 12 years and is now a first officer at United Airlines. And Emily is a pilot for 15 years, and she flies skydivers for the last 10 of those years. And she's also an Airframe and Powerplant Mechanic with an Inspection Authorization. So she's got a lot going.
Yeah, they both do.
Lots
of exciting stuff. Lots of pretty exciting fields as well.
Yeah, they are exciting fields.
Me too. There's not a lot of, I shouldn't say there's not a lot of female A&Ps, but like we don't have a ton at the museum. It's a predominantly male dominated thing so far in the Twin Cities here. I know we have a couple of female mechanics, but it's just so cool. I can't wait.
I know. We're teasing this very well. So the time of the filming, we're taping, the time we recorded this show, we're in the middle of the COVID-19 crisis. So everybody's grounded and at home, for the most part. So I'm sure that's going to come up in our interview when we bring them on, since the aviation community is definitely affected by this.
Very much.
Which, speaking of, the Air Race Classic is canceled this year.
For the first time since World War II, right?
Yeah, and they also canceled it in 1974 due to a fuel crisis. But yeah,
Oh.
it's so this is kind of a big deal that they're not running it. So yeah, it's kind of sad, but
Well, here's hoping they can have it next year.
yeah. So anyways, I guess we could go ahead and bring them on the phone.
Sounds like a great idea.
Cool.
So today, Kara and I are interviewing Emily Applegate and Zia Safko. So welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So I'm very excited to hear from both of you. It's been a while since I've talked to you, Zia, and I just saw Emily a couple years ago. So we're very pleased to catch up with you. It's been,
Yeah, thank you.
That is
Yeah,
great.
we're so excited.
yeah, I think it's been a couple years since we did Rise Above Wasp, right? Or last year?
No, it was last year, wasn't it?
Yeah. Oh, I guess it'd only be a year ago. Anyways, so
Well, a year in October. Yeah.
Time flies when you're having fun.
exactly.
Right? How did you two get into aviation?
Emily, you want to say first? My mom actually told the story of me as a little girl flying a kite out in the pasture and yelling, "Take it down, take it down, take it down." So Mom thinks, oh, it's time to go inside. She takes the kite down. I run over there. I sit on it, and I say, "Now go." And ever since then, Mom says I wanted to be a pilot.
Oh, that's funny.
How did you guys meet?
We met at Metropolitan State University of Denver in college. We went to a Women in Aviation conference together as well. That was back in, 2011? I think so, yeah.
Zia, how did you get into aviation?
Well, my mom's in the airline industry. She actually just retired from United Airlines, working for them for 32 years. So I grew up non-revving my whole life. My mom's from England. She has a passion for traveling, and she was a gate agent for United. So pretty much instead of going on the weekend camping trips, because I'm from Colorado, we did the weekend Hawaii trips because we got free airfare and they used
nice.
their hotel reward points, to sneak off and do mini vacations. So I always knew I was going to be in the cockpit one day. I just always had a passion for that.
That's great.
That's fantastic. And now
Yeah.
that's what you're doing.
That's what I'm doing. I know. Not at the moment with everything going on, but yes.
Right. Yeah.
How long has it been since you've flown or since you've been in the cockpit?
Like 30 days.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
I think exactly 30 days right now. Yeah.
So did you
Wow.
fly
It's
at
kind
all?
of eerie.
Yeah. Were they just cut your flying when it first happened, or were you flying while some of it was going on?
Yeah, I was flying while some of it was going on. I held a line last month, and the company ended up taking off my last trip because they were cutting down flying, and they were giving it to new hires so they can kind of consolidate all their hours. And so that was my last trip. I was supposed to fly at the end of last month, and I haven't flown. I've been on call all month so far, and they haven't used me.
Oh, wow.
Well, I imagine
It's a
all the
crazy
other airlines.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the other airlines have cut all of their flights and stuff right now too. So it's kind of interesting. But you fly for United when things aren't
do.
in a global pandemic.
Yes. Yep. It was my dream company to work for, hence because my mom worked there, and I've been with United for almost 2 years now.
Very cool. But you didn't start, you kind of moved your way up through a couple different airlines and eventually got to United.
Yeah. I started off at Great Lakes Airlines out of Denver, Colorado, and got my turbine time there in my 1500, and then moved over to SkyWest Airlines and flew, under the colors of 4 different majors for them, and then now I'm at United.
Very cool. It's cool that you
Yeah, that's
you
awesome.
could get in there.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. So what's your normal route? Do you have different places that you fly to, or are you usually just going to the same place?
No, I fly all over. I do a mixture of international and domestic. I fly the Boeing 757 and the 767 aircraft.
Very cool.
And we typically go to like Western Europe. I think the farthest I've been is maybe deep into Europe is like Switzerland or Germany, not too far in. And then we go to South America, and then a lot of transcons. But it's a great variety on the aircraft that I fly.
Nice. So that's probably a nice perk too, that you get to go all these different places
Right? Yeah.
Do a little
it's
vacation.
fantastic. Yeah, I bring my fiance with me, and we spend 24 hours in cities here and there just to get a glimpse, and then we know where we want to go back for longer periods of time.
Yeah, we frequently do that with our shoots and our jobs, where we're only in certain places to work, and then we're always like, oh, this is really nice. Like, we'll come back later, and this is going to be a good vacation spot. So
right, exactly. Yeah. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, we both, my husband and I, used to work for Northwest and then Delta, and we did the same thing. Like, we'd literally go to France for the weekend, and our friends thought we were all crazy. Like, no, it's great. Like, it only costs this much, and we're just going to go for 3 or 4 days, and we'll be back on Monday. So I kind of miss that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So Emily, how's your flying been going? Are you still flying, or do you at home?
I fly skydivers on the weekends, and then I work at a competing airline, American Airlines, but instead of the flight sector, I'm in the maintenance sector.
Oh, very cool. Are you going in now, or are you quarantined as well?
I am going in every day as an essential employee, so all of these aircraft that are grounded, we still have to preserve and maintain them, right? Sure. So working at the world's largest aircraft maintenance base in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Oh, wow. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Is everybody doing all of the social distancing and wearing masks and gloves and stuff?
Yep. We're masks and gloves and some of that we need for our jobs anyway.
Right. Yeah.
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 Makes it a little bit trickier, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what's it like dropping skydivers?
Oh, yeah.
It's a fun experience. You're required to wear a parachute because the door is intentionally open during flight. Mm-hmm. And your weight and balance dramatically changes as soon as they leave the aircraft. So you get ready for that ballooning effect, right? As soon as they leave. The ones that kind of hang on the wing a little bit, those are fun for your your aileron and your bicep workout. Yeah.
You're like, get off my airplane.
Take them off a little.
Yeah. Yep. How long have you been doing that, Emily?
I've been flying skydivers for about 10 years. I started in Colorado in Fort Morgan, and now I fly at Skydive Airtight in Skytech, Oklahoma. Okay. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Have you actually done skydiving, or just drop the passengers off?
I have. I've done both a tandem and an IAD, instructor assisted deployment. So where I've got to go by myself. Yeah.
I'd love to do it. I've never done it. Kara, have you?
No, I don't want to jump out of a perfectly good airplane. Like, no. If we're going down, fine. Otherwise, no.
What about you, Zia? Have you ever skydived?
Oh, I've done it once, and it was fantastic. I went with a friend, and he wanted to go skydiving. I said, okay, I'll go with you, but I don't want to go in Colorado because I want to fall for longer, for a higher elevation. And so we looked at a map, and it was either Nebraska or Utah, and we went to Moab to go skydiving. It was so much fun.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
Yeah. I think the idea, it sounds really fun. I do not like the feeling of falling, so that's why I'm like, no. But I did.
Okay.
So one of the episodes we did for the Restorers, we filmed with a group in Oklahoma who they dress up as...
in Frederick.
Yeah, in Frederick. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we did where they dress up in World War II gear, and they're do the whole bit, and they have to go through training to learn how to jump out of the do the static line jump. And I went up with them, and I was filming with them as they jumped out of the airplane, and I definitely felt that whole pull. Like, you feel the weight go in the plane, and the plane just, like, lifts up. And it was very, very cool. And afterwards I was like, okay, maybe I would do it. But I think if I did it, it would have to be the static, like something like that, where it just, the parachute pulls immediately.
No
And I'm not
free
just,
fall?
I don't want to free fall. It scares me. Roller coasters. I like roller coasters, but when I do it and the falling's happening, I'm just like, I can't breathe. So I just definitely,
Right. Yeah.
I don't think I would enjoy it. I think I would be panicking.
Totally.
It's so peaceful, though. You don't get that sensation of falling because you're moving at the same speed as the aircraft when you leave. And then afterwards, you are the airplane, right? Because you're flying yourself to the ground. I don't know.
Oh, that would be just so cool.
Yeah.
You're really selling it. Maybe I'll reconsider.
You get to be your own airplane, Kara.
Well,
That's pretty
I've been
cool,
flying it for 10
actually.
years, so.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing that, like, that's what makes me excited about flying, is that I was like, oh, I'd always love to just be me flying and not be in a plane, but, like, flying like a superhero would be cool. So maybe I would like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. My grandpa used to go all the time, and he always, when I was a little kid, he used to tell me, "Oh, you got to try it someday." So I have to do it one of these days. So
You have to.
I would
It's
love to
fun.
be your
It's like a
pilot.
bucket list.
Yeah, Emily can take us.
absolutely, yeah, we could have
I
a
would love to
reunion.
take you guys.
We'll come out there and we'll have a reunion and go skydiving.
Yes.
There you go.
It'll be
But
awesome.
right now,
I'm
we
in.
can't really social distance.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
That's
we
true.
might have to wait a little while.
I'm adding it to my vastly growing travel list of being in
know.
quarantine of the
It's
places
kind of
I want to go.
It's kind of my list is kind of long right now since we can't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just adding more things to it as we search through Pinterest and Facebook and everything.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
yeah. All this downtime is just really making my my wallet's gonna hurt once we're allowed to go anywhere.
Yeah.
I haven't really had a whole lot of downtime. I've been pretty busy, thankfully. But
Yeah,
Emily,
Amy
I wanted
actually
to
can
ask
still
you
work.
about being a mechanic and an IA. I'm super, super intrigued and completely nerding out about that.
I just got my IA in January of this year, so
Okay.
I haven't really got to fully utilize it yet, but I'm
Well,
super excited
congratulations.
to start doing annuals. Thank you.
What,
Yeah,
Go ahead.
other than that, yeah, I've been a AMP for, I think, 5 years now.
Wow, that's pretty cool. What's your favorite type of aircraft that you've worked on?
Well, I teach at Tulsa Tech,
Okay.
their night A&P program. So we get a variety of different aircraft to teach on, anywhere from single engine reciprocating Cessna 152s to Saberliners, and anything in between. We have the A7 there, which is pretty awesome, that was used in the Korean War. So
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's cool.
yeah, we get to run it up, and the further you advance the throttle, the larger your smile gets. It's directly proportional. Really weird.
I like that. Even Adam chuckled a little bit.
Yeah, I can. I don't know if that's coming over on our podcast or not. My microphone. But I can understand that for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's great that you guys are both able to, work these, may I dare say, dream jobs, which I know is, might be, I guess, because the field of aviation is mostly male dominated. I know that's, I guess it's not that women can't do it, but it's that it's more marketed towards men, even as,
Right.
Yeah.
as kids, where boys get airplanes to play with and girls get whatever nonsense they think girls should play with.
Right.
So, which is kind of unfair. But anyways, I guess my point is that do you ever, like, throughout your careers, have you ever noticed that, or is it just kind of like it's normal and it's fine, or do you ever feel like, oh wow, I'm definitely like outnumbered?
For me, you know what, I never really like distinguished the difference between like male pilots and female pilots. It was just pilots. You know, my parents were always encouraging, you know, I walked down my my kindergarten graduation saying I wanted to be a pilot. So it was just something I always wanted to do. And they never like stopped encouraging me along the way. But I guess I did kind of realize that once I became a flight instructor. I was the only full-time flight instructor at that time at my flight school. And I go home and I'm chatting with my dad at some point, and he was like, you know, I was complaining about something. The boys were giving me a hard time, and he was like, you want to know why, Zia? It's because it's a boys' club. And you know what? Ignorance is bliss. Because after he said that, I was like, crap, it is a boys' club. So that kind of changed my perspective a little bit. But, you know, I don't care nowadays. We show up, we do our job. It's the best job in the world. It's always a changing office view, and it doesn't bother me too much. You kind of have to have thick skin at times, you know, but that's any
Absolutely.
job.
Yeah. No, I just I like to pick things that are very male dominated, I guess, because also filmmaking is the same way. And right. Not that, I mean, I've experienced things, and the other women I've worked with have experienced things like, but you can definitely tell a difference when you're on a film set with a lot of women, and when you're on with a lot of men. So I guess I was just curious, because I know the dynamic for myself when I'm working on films like that, it changes. Yeah. So it's not that it's just a different way of working with different people, I suppose, is what it ultimately comes down to. But
right. And there are some days in the cockpit where I'm just like, goodness, I hope to goodness you have a daughter so we can relate to something. That's what I hope for some days when it comes down to it.
Oh no. Yeah, that's always that's a rough one.
Yeah. What can we talk about for the next 6 hours?
Exactly. Or just please talk to me. We get those folks too, you know, where they just don't even talk to you. So.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, I've had.
You know.
Yeah.
You could tell them. You could ask them if they're going to talk to you, or is this going to be a really long flight? That was the first words that I said to my husband, and we got married. So.
Oh, perfect.
I forgot about that story.
That is awesome.
Yeah. Only it was, or is this going to be a really long day?
Oh. You could have just said it's going to be a really long day.
Yeah, right?
No, yeah. I've had the job where no one could get my name right. And then they would complain that they couldn't, that I would never respond on set. Thankfully, another one of my friends, she was like, "That's because you're saying the wrong name." And I'm like, "Oh, this job's gonna take forever."
Oh boy.
Yeah, that was the worst one I've had. But anyways, so we don't want to talk about that. So I guess we should talk about your involvement in the Air Race Classic. And that's how I met you both. And I've mentioned in our open before we brought you on that I saw you guys in your outfits, and I was like, we need to have them be part of the show. So how did you guys hear about the Air Race Classic?
And that's all you.
That was actually our first Women in Aviation conference together. I walked by the booth, and I think it might have been Mary Wonder that mentioned the Air Race Classic and really sold me on it. And so I initially brought it to our school and said, yeah, I want to do this. How can we do this? Will you help fund us? And they said, yes. And they said, pick a pilot to work with. And I said, there aren't very many to pick from that are female. Zia, she's my best friend. She's my best friend that's a female in aviation. Let's do this. And she said yes. And we were so excited. And then more stipulations kind of got put in, and they said, well, we'd kind of like you to have an instructor with you during the race. I'm like, oh, but if they're in one of the front seats, then we don't get to rack all of our flight time. So we decided that we were going to decline funding from the school because we thought, we're commercial pilots already. We can do this by ourselves. We've got this. Let's go get sponsors. And let's go get sponsors. And so we just said, oh, we need flight suits like NASCAR, and we can put our sponsors down the arms and the legs, and it's going to be awesome. And we're like, yes. So we're designing these flight suits. We end up at the Army surplus store, and most of our sponsors or people that would donate, it would probably cost more to put their names on our flight suits than the donation that they gave, right?
Oh, sure.
So we have these flight suits, and we're like, well, we need to decorate them. So we went to the Army surplus store, and there were iron-on patches. And in there was Rosie the Riveter. And we're like, oh, we need her. Oh, we need to put her on our right arm. This is it. And then we need bandanas, and then we need red lipstick. And then all of a sudden, the Racing Rosies were made, right?
Yeah.
That's great.
So from there, we pavement pounded in our uniforms. Now, it's silly that the costume if it's one person, right? But if it's two people, it's a uniform. And we rocked that uniform. And people would ask us questions. You're nervous to talk to people, dressed up in this uniform. They would come to you. Why are you dressed this way? Oh, let me tell you. And we're going to race in an air race, and we need support. And we pavement pounded, like no one's business, whatever fundraisers we could do to raise enough money to do this by ourselves, because we wanted to make sure that,
That's fantastic.
And
That's really
so
cool.
worth it.
Yeah.
So it was a total accident that you guys got your name. Or a happy accident, right?
It was.
Yeah.
It was. We found Fifanilla later, and the story behind it, and she ended up on our flight suits as well, because anything to represent that, hey, we can do this. We can do this by ourselves. We don't need funding from anyone else. Hey, we can do this by ourselves. Hey, we're powerful women, and we wanted to be everything that, they modeled to be.
Like I said, that was one of the reasons that I wanted to come talk to you both, because Adam and I do so much with history and aviation, and I was like, they've got like everything on there. And I was like, we need to talk to them. I was like, even if it were like we didn't put you in the documentary, I was like, we need to talk to them. But you're like, absolutely, when we do the screenings of that, every time when you guys show up with your little goggles on with the sparkles on them, everyone loves that. I was like, that's one of my favorite shots of you two.
What's so memorable too?
It is very memorable.
You guys are just so memorable.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, though, those costumes and our outfits, they made the race for us. I mean, it was just so much
made it more fun.
Yeah, because you saw everyone had like matching shirts on, and I love it. And it's just team spirit, and Emily and I just kind of wanted to take it up a notch. I mean, I'm a weird person as is, so it was just, I just embraced it. It was just so much fun because people around us had fun, and that's what made it more exciting.
Yeah, that was definitely one of the things I noticed, because while doing the documentary, I had to, become one of the team members. And so I saw you guys frequently throughout the race.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, they're always having a good time.
Probably because we just look silly the whole time, so we could not be serious.
Didn't you guys win?
It just made it that much more fun.
Yeah.
Win like Miss Congeniality or something because of your outfits and everything?
Yeah. We won it 3 years in a row.
Then I think everybody else was having fun too.
Yeah.
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 That's awesome.
I'm pretty sure they made that award just for us. Like, that was the first year they did it.
Yeah.
Oh, really? That's funny.
They were like, they need to get something. Make up an award.
A for effort, right? Oh,
yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool.
How was the first time you raced? How'd that go for you guys?
It was fun. It was nerve-wracking. Emily, do you remember the first takeoff out of Lake Havasu? And we kept the flaps down. for like
Oh
the
my
first
gosh.
30 minutes.
Uh-oh.
And
had all these
because, you
checklists
don't
that we
want
were doing.
drag.
Yeah.
No. Oh my gosh. We kicked ourselves like the rest of that first leg, and just even after that going, oh my gosh, I can't believe we did that. And yeah, we had all these checklists and all these little note cards, and we were so prepared, and our mother bird was so awesome to prepare us for all of these things. And we're like, how could we forget something so simple as flaps?
Yeah, it was pretty, because we had to, the first airport we took off at, there was terrain. So we kept the flaps, for a little bit extra, lift and all that stuff, but we left them in for like a good 30 minutes into the flight.
No.
And we were so determined. I mean, we stuffed our eye holes in the airplane with like tape to like prevent any drag coming into the airplane.
It was so hot in there.
Yeah, we sprayed a pledge along the leading edge for that wax surface along the leading edge of the wings, and that was the first thing we forgot.
Yeah. I learned all about
cleaning
cleaning
makeup
bugs.
Time.
Yeah.
What was
we
that?
were so prepared. We were sweating in the cockpit, and then we let flaps take a big factor. Yeah.
Like, no.
But it was fun. We had so much fun together. We did 3 races in a row, and it was just awesome.
Yeah. And you had to do the fundraising every time you went?
We did, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you go back to some of the same people, or did you guys try to find new people?
Both.
Anyone we could. We tried to do like plane washes and anything creative. We sold T-shirts, Racing Rosies.
Cool.
Just whatever we could, to get that extra money to race, because we were renting the aircraft. A lot of people own their own aircraft for the air race, but we were, I think, one of the few exceptions, other than like maybe the flight schools that have their own aircraft.
Sure.
Yeah.
So do you guys think you'll race again?
Yes,
It's
and
quiet.
we every year. I did say yes.
Yes, Zia, please say yes.
Yes. Emily bugs me every year, and I was just trying to get to United. That was my big goal, so I had to make sacrifices, but I'm dying to race again.
Yeah. And then it's canceled this year, so maybe next
yeah.
year.
I know.
Yeah.
Hopefully it won't be next year.
I hope not.
Yeah.
You guys can revive the Racing Rosies next year.
Yeah.
I still have all my uniforms and outfits and every single note card that Emily and I have written. I've just got tubs and tubs of stuff from the races.
That's awesome.
That's
awesome.
Oh.
So when thinking about it, because I watched Beyond the Powder, but Kara went with a whole team. Thinking about all of the time and effort and energy going into it, the whole thing kind of terrifies me. How did you guys prepare?
So typically, we signed up for the race, in January, February, Is that right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, and then we kind of started getting stuff together. We started fundraising around February, March, and then we got together about a month before, and that's when we started looking at the route and get our note cards and our flyby sheets prepared and our outfits prepared. That was important. Stocking up on our cup of noodles. It did. It did. Yeah, they were light, so we put them in the airplane.
Good point. Yeah, good point.
Cup of noodles are very light. That was our main source of food for those 4 days of the race.
Yeah.
Yes.
And thankfully, it's only 4 days of cup of noodles. You can survive that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think we really crunched the month beforehand, I think, with looking at notes and getting all of our sources in line in the airports and figuring out where the flyby waypoint is, because that's really important. And we were planning on turning, final to cross that as fast as we can go. So we did a lot of prep work together.
Wow, that's great. Seems a little less scary Kara and I have talked about doing it at some point when we both finish
if we
our
ever get our pilot's licenses. We are like the slowest students ever.
Well, I lost an instructor.
I've lost several instructors.
Yeah, I've lost a couple.
That's understandable.
Yeah. And I have a list long of excuses why I'm not. It's mostly like my job just does not allow for
consistency.
We've been so busy, especially with doing the Wasp movie for like the last 3 years. It's like I don't have time, and my brain is so focused on whatever project we're doing that I can't devote all my brain power to actually learning how to fly something, because like if I'm not committing 100% to something, my brain will not remember any of it. I'll just
and after a 15-hour day, who wants to go learn something else?
Yeah. But someday
we'll get there.
Hot airplane.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, we'll get there. And like when I do have time, it's winter in Ohio, and everybody's like, "You can fly in the winter," and I'm like, I don't want to. I don't like it.
I know. I'm the same way. Everybody's like, "But it's only 20 degrees out.
Like,
you could still go flying." I'm like,
it's cold.
You could.
But the airplane performs so well in the winter.
I know.
I know.
If we had a heated hangar to do the pre-flight, I probably would, but it gets a little chilly.
We'll get there.
I scraped off so many airplanes with my credit card, getting that layer of frost off.
Yeah, we'll get there.
I sound like a real whiner, don't I?
I know.
My hangar's not heated.
Like, just do it. I will.
I know. No more excuses.
Okay. No, you're talking about carrying stuff that was you want to carry as little as possible and be as light as possible. And when I was talking with Lynn and Susan about when I was going to be joining them for their on their team, they're like, "Yeah, you get 5 pounds in your bag." And I was like, "Oh no, they gave me 10 pounds." And I was like, "My camera weighs 5 pounds." I was like,
oh my God.
I'm like, okay, I'll do whatever you say because you're being nice enough to let me come along with you. And I was like, like, I'll take underwear with me, I guess.
I'm going to wear the same shirt and pants for the next 4 days.
Yeah.
This will be great.
Luckily, it wasn't
That's
that
why
long,
we wore our flight suits. We smelled terrible by the end of it, but it was one outfit we had to worry about.
That's a good idea, actually.
Yeah, really good idea.
We brought the same things, like literally we had the same outfits. So for the most part, everything weighed the same. So we couldn't say, "Oh, you brought more than I did," because we brought the same
literally
things
matched our outfits. Yeah.
Nice.
Like jewelry, the number of underwear, pretty much.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
That sounds familiar.
That sounds, yeah.
Amy and I do that too, not on purpose.
Not on purpose. It just happens. We show up and we're like, "God dang it!"
Like, oh, you have the same thing I do.
It's shocking.
It's complimentary.
Really.
Yeah, that's true. Great minds think alike, I guess.
Yeah.
So do either one of you have a favorite memory from the race other than the fabulous outfits?
Yes. The first one that comes to mind is we're flying to the third race. So that was in Concord, California. And we stayed the night in Cedar City, Utah. And we ended up making friends with the FBO. They lent us their empty house for the night to stay the night in their empty house that they rent. So they literally brought over a mattress and sheets and towels, and they let us stay in this giant house. Yes. They were so kind.
That's really cool.
But we grabbed breakfast burritos on the next morning before we head out. And we're flying along out of Cedar City, and we're near Area 51. And I think I was painting my fingernails. And I look over, and Emily has made like a tin hat so the aliens don't swoop in on us, because we're right around Area 51. Yeah.
That's amazing.
That was,
what happens around Las Vegas stays there.
Not anymore.
Not in the airspace.
That was one of my favorite science. We're painting nails and avoiding the aliens on our way to the air race. So.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
That's great.
See, that's why I would want to be on your team. Sounds like fun.
It's fun.
Right?
It's fun. What about you, Em? What's your favorite?
Oh my goodness. Just all the volunteers that like helped us throughout everything. So we stopped in Oregon. I think, what was it, our second race or third race?
Yeah.
I can't remember. And we had a guy help wash our plane down for us before we got to the start. Like, I mean, he was an elderly gentleman and an FBO, and helped us wash our airplane down. We changed into our flight suits. We came out of the aircraft normal, but we're like, oh, we're headed to the start, so we gotta dress up. And we come out of the FBO bathroom as the Racing Rosies, right? Just total 180, and this nice old man just, oh, yeah, can I have a picture with you before you go? Well, sure. And that was our response to, like, everyone. Between that, I think in Pasco, Washington, one of the 99s was graceful enough to let us stay at her home for a night.
Oh, nice.
We didn't have a lot of money, so we made it through the race and everything else, but we sure relied on the generosity of our first race. The FBO workers in Gallup, New Mexico held flashlights for us as we put our race numbers on with electrical tape.
Wow.
Wow.
Electrical tape that we kept putting on, like every other stop we had to keep putting electrical tape on because it kept falling off during the race.
Oh no.
Oh my goodness.
We were cheap that race.
We what?
We were cheap that race. We used electrical tape for our numbers.
Oh, yeah. Funny.
We got someone to donate numbers after that.
Nice.
Thank goodness.
Then we'll stay
Good
on.
thinking.
Yeah. They weren't even. Oh my goodness. The amount of electrical tape, we should have probably done another weight and balance.
Probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
The cool thing, though, with every race, though, this was Emily's genius idea. With every race, at the end of the race, Emily would map out, and this was all her. She would map out our route home, and we would stop in as many states as we can and do a touch and go, switch seats the first time around because I wasn't a CFI yet. So we'd switch seats. I'd go do a touch and go, and then we'd fly to the next state, do it again. And thankfully, the second race I was a CFI, so we would just do. Emily would do a touch and go from the left seat, and then I'd come back around and do a touch and go from the right seat. But I've been to every state now in an airplane that I've flown myself because of Emily, because that's what we did at the end.
That's really cool.
Landed pilot in command in every state, just because of that.
Oh, I love it.
Well, I haven't got Alaska yet, but I'm working on it.
Well, when you want to make that happen, you just let me know because I got the hookup.
Yeah, Amy's from Alaska.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So you just let me know, and we'll make that happen.
Yeah.
That's so awesome.
But that's, you guys are talking about, the race, and I'm just remembering in my head, and that's one of my favorite things about doing that documentary and being able to join you all to do it, was that there was all this community and camaraderie, and like every airport you would go to, there was just a lot of people there volunteering, and like everyone was really excited about it and wanted to help. And I just love that there's that love and passion. And I think it was the 2 years ago, it came through Ohio, and I had the chance to go down and volunteer at one of the stops. So at least I got to see some of you all come, or some of all the ladies coming through. So I was very excited about that. And I went down with my 99s chapter, went down and volunteered for that. So.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That was the best part of the race, is meeting everyone. I mean, I don't think I'd have half as many girlfriends in aviation without that race.
Yeah. I know so many women who fly now, just from doing that and continuing to go to things after making the documentary. So that kind of leads me to my next question. And kind of the point of doing Beyond the Powder was to get more girls interested in aviation, and if not aviation, STEM careers. Do you think that as part of the Racing Rosies, is that something you guys try to do as part of your social media outreach with that?
Absolutely. I think we volunteered every single time that we could for the Girl Scouts aviation patch. I think there's pictures out there showing us, my hands are in a V, saying that normal aircraft reciprocating engines like these, are horizontally opposed versus, the cars that are more of a V shape, right? Showing them, different careers in aviation, not just pilot, but mechanic and air traffic control. Walking them through the pattern on, the ground with, sidewalk chalk.
Yeah.
So I think we ran the gamut of different groups. I think we didn't we sponsor in like Fayetteville, Arkansas via like women or girls in aviation group?
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Yeah. I mean, that's the whole point of this industry is giving back to the future, the future generations in this industry, because that's the best thing about aviation is you have a love of aviation and you want to pass that along. And that's really important to both Emily and I.
Yeah. And Adam and I discuss this all the time, is that just because we do so much in filmmaking, and when I speak at things or if I show up somewhere, we just did a class at Tri-C about how to be on set, essentially. And I showed up just to visit, and I ended up talking for an hour because all the female students were like, whoa, what? And they're like, and I was like, I don't know more than the people who are talking to you. But Adam's always like, just you existing is doing something. So like the fact that they see
inspiring somebody else.
Yeah, that girls see Zia walking through the airport in her uniform is just huge. Like, you don't have to do anything. You're just there.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
It's so empowering when people come up to you and say, like, you rock, and it's like, I didn't do anything besides walk into work.
Right.
But it's just so exciting. It just sparks that, fire in your heart all over again. And you just want to spread that.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And that's a great way to do that with you, especially with your job. You're going all over the place, and airports are always full of people. So,
Zia, do you get a lot of little girls that come up to you and want their picture taken?
Yes and no.
I suppose you're pretty busy.
No, I do. There was this one, I was in Washington Dulles, and I was heading home. I'd come from the hotel and I was heading to my flight, and I was just sitting there on the people mover, and this dad comes up to me and he's like, "Can my daughter take a picture with you?" Like, absolutely. And then he ends up posting that on Twitter or Twitter or Instagram, and then United gets a hold of that, and then they send me a message, and it was so magical, because I just remembered I put on the hat on her, and it was just really special.
That's very cool. That's very cool. When I travel with the B-25, I'm not flying it or anything, but there's always, some little girl or even, a teenager, and they want their picture taken with me. And at first I was like, oh no, you don't want, like, I'm a nobody, like, you don't want your picture taken with me, but it's not about that. It's the connection, that I'm a female, they're a female, and so I try to embrace it when it happens, but that's
absolutely. Well, you're opening up doors that they didn't even know existed. That's the best part of it.
Yeah. I think we've got a few minutes left here for a couple more questions. Emily, you were a part of the Rise Above WASP, and you drove all the way down to be with us, and you were an extra.
Yes, that was so much fun. Just to be a part of that experience. I was very honored to be asked.
Yeah, that was so when we were asked to do that project, and Adam and I came up with an idea and a script, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna need a lot of women to play WASP to like fill out these scenes. And I was like, okay, I'm going to start. I want women who are actually in aviation, in some sort of field. And I just started reaching out to all my friends on Facebook and seeing if anybody wanted to come do that. And like 2 of the people that came to my mind immediately, I was like, oh, I want Zia and Emily to be in it. And I have this thing where it's like, I like to keep using the same people in all our projects. We have an actress here named Liz Duché, and I put her in everything we do. So I was like, oh my gosh, I want them. And luckily Emily was able to, but Zia couldn't because she was too busy, you know.
I'm sorry.
Working on her career.
Flying around the
important
world.
things.
I know. We missed you.
Yeah.
I know. Trust me. I missed you guys. I wish I could have been a part of that, but you looked fantastic, Emily.
Yeah. Emily looked great. She did great.
Yeah.
Very excited, and we had Amy along on it, who doesn't normally work on movies, but she was helping out doing our costumes, or I shouldn't say what costumes, our wardrobe, making sure everybody everybody looked accurate. So
She got very interesting.
Amy became very familiar with everybody who was in our movie. So
yes, yeah, and that's where Emily and I got to meet. So
yeah,
it was very cool.
Yes, it was so much fun.
And it was very hot.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. That too.
Yeah.
It was so hot.
Yeah.
Caitlin's shoes melted, and oh my goodness.
Yeah. One of the gals' shoes melted, and our camera PA had heat stroke at the end of the day. So it was a party. But so Amy and I definitely had very different experiences. What was your experience like, Emily?
It was full of, hey, go here, hey, go there, hey, go back to makeup. I'm like, oh, but I want to see him start up the airplane. No, you want to do this instead. Oh, okay. And I came back the next day pretty early, and I was like, oh, I didn't get a ride in one of the aircrafts because I was doing another scene, which was super awesome. Little did I know, it takes like, I don't know, I say a million because I'm exaggerating, different shots with different lenses to do different things with the movie afterwards, how it's projected. So to put it in that all immersive dome experience versus other things, we shot the same scene multiple times. And I'm like, oh, I hope I did that almost the same as I did the last time, or at least super close, right? And then the next day, I was like, oh, I didn't get to fly in the airplane. So I got to go up, and we were flying in formation while, what's her name? Stints. Was flying.
Oh, Laura, yeah.
Laura, oh my goodness. She was so awesome. We got to fly in formation in the background while she was doing her awesome scene right over the welcome sign into Sweetwater, which was super awesome.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that was
such an amazing experience.
Yeah, I guess because I'm always I apologize for the the long time it takes us to do the filmmaking process, but normally it doesn't take that long and we don't have to do it as much. But for this particular project, we had to do different formats because it was going into different theaters, so we had to frame them slightly differently. But yeah, I'm always curious on what everybody's thinking, because I'm so busy doing my job that I was like, I hope everyone's taken care of and having an okay time. I really gotta focus. So
it went by so fast.
More pictures.
Yeah.
To describe it all. So like friends and family. Like,
yeah.
And the days went by really fast too. I was surprised. You know, even though we were there 12, 14 hours, it just zoomed by.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah, that'll happen. So Emily, you also were able to join us in Oshkosh when we premiered it this summer. What did you think of the final film and seeing your face up there really big?
Oh, I loved it. I was so proud, and my mom was there to see it as well. So I know that she was proud too. She's been, a Racing Rosies supporter and just an Emily Applegate supporter anyway. So it was neat to share that experience with her. She was. You could tell it was a proud mom moment. She was grinning ear to ear when she left there. So
yeah,
How cool to be able to share that with your mom.
Yeah, Yeah, we were very excited that you guys were able to make it in time to see it, because I know it was kind of a squeeze, but it makes me happy to have people be in who've seen it be able to see it on the big screen right away, because I know it's a hard one to see with it being a traveling exhibit. But
yeah,
I hear it's coming to Tulsa though. I'm super excited.
Yeah. Oh,
oh,
good.
cool.
Good. Yeah.
I'm gonna tell people at the maintenance base.
Yay.
Oh, good. That'll be cool.
That's one of the things that I mean, everything that's happening is very terrible for the reasons we all know. But one of the side effects from it is that the trailer was supposed to start its premiere of the tour in California last month, and it was canceled. And I know a lot of their schedule is getting canceled because a lot of the air shows are canceling, and it's a bummer that nobody's going to be able to see it, because it's such a great story about those women. And I guess I'm just very anxious for more people to see it, because everybody worked so hard on it and it turned out really well. So I'm excited for people to see it. But
I am too.
hopefully
very
everything clears
excited.
up soon.
I am too.
Yeah. So I guess Amy's shown me that we're out of time. So
That's the little timer.
one thing before we go, we just re-signed with APT, and they're going to broadcast Beyond the Powder for 2 more years. So it's going to
awesome.
be on PBS for at least 6 years when
cool.
it's done. So
That is so awesome. We try to let our viewers and our fans know, at least on our Racing Rosies Facebook page, as much as we can.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
I love that the story's still out there and it's continuing to air, and that it randomly pops up every once in a while where someone's like, hey, it was on in my hotel room so I'm just glad people are able to see it. But yeah, so your stardom will continue.
Well, as a supervisor, a lot of my employees are saying, did I see you on TV last weekend?
That's amazing.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I'm kind of a big deal.
You should know me.
All right. Well, it was great
Thank
talking
you guys
to you,
so
ladies.
much.
Thank you for having us. This was great.
Yeah, absolutely.
I appreciate it. Yes, thank you.
Thanks for listening, everybody. Beyond the Powder is still airing across the country. You mentioned that it's on PBS
Yes.
already.
Yeah. Available on DVD and Blu-ray on Amazon and flightcinema.com. So if you can't wait for PBS to find it on your local listings, you can certainly buy it. And you can have it all the time and see Emily and Zia's shining faces. And over.
Which would be
and
great.
Over and
over. We want to thank our producer, Matt Jolly, for putting us on Boardward Radio, and our fabulous Adam White for being our recording engineer. We're sponsored by Hemlock Films and Spotlight Business Solutions.
Yep. And check out our Facebook page for more info. And thanks for listening to Air Raid Radio, and we'll catch you next time.